I actually went to college, declared as a journalism major. Actually worked for the Dixon Telegraph when I was in high school covering sports, and that's what I wanted to do. And when I was there, I kind of found in a group of friends that were education majors, and I kind of taught a summer school program at the school, and I just absolutely loved it. I've always just kind of been a person that I've always liked school. I've always liked being around people and working with kids, and so it was just kind of a natural fit. And then in my first education class, spring of my freshman year, we do a little bit of observations in a school, and it was just like, all right, this is what I was meant to do, and I've just never looked back. The best teachers don't realize they're good, and I firmly believe that. I don't think I have it figured out, and I know that if I'm teaching the way I am right now, and in 5 years, then I'm failing myself. I'm the first to tell you, my first year of teaching, I'm shocked that they kept me around for a second year. I taught the way I was taught. I taught the way I thought school was supposed to be, but school has changed. And there's a lot of teachers that are changing with it, and there's a lot that can't admit that they're doing something wrong. And it's not to say that you're doing something wrong, but there are better ways to do things. There's teachers in here that I will tell you that I work with that are in their 30th year and are teaching the exact same way they did in 1970 whatever, and they haven't changed. And they're the ones that struggle the most. So, yeah, I think that plays a huge part. Good teachers recognize when it's time to change. And if you're rolling over your lesson plans from year to year, in my opinion, you're failing. Your kids change every year. The society changes and evolves in our country, so our schools have to. And I think the biggest issues we have in education are those places that are not evolving. And humor, of course. I teach junior high. If I didn't have humor, I'd be eaten alive on a daily basis. There's some hot topics out there right now, and one of them is the whole standardized testing culture we have in our country. And Illinois is no different than any other state. And I personally am, to be quite honest, a little disgusted in some of the stuff that we do with standardized tests, not just in Illinois, but around the country. We reduce these kids that are naturally creative and just love learning, and we reduce them to what they can show on a bubble test. And I have a lot of problems with that, to be frank. Kids are beyond just one test score. And the amount of millions of dollars, billions around this country that we put into prepping kids for this test, that they take one time and we make all these decisions about whether they have failed school or have succeeded in school just because they can regurgitate some facts on a bubble sheet. And I don't think I need to tell you, there's so many examples of kids that don't do well in those tests but go on to lead very, very successful lives. And I have parents ask me, well, aren't you going to do the ISAT prep in your class? And my answer is always no. I will never teach to the test. And the day that somebody tells me I have to, well, that's the day that I'm going to leave what I'm doing, because I don't believe in that. I want kids to love learning, and there's no kid that loves taking those tests. There's nothing that tells me that prepping a kid to do a multiple choice test prepares them for anything they're going to do in their life. I haven't taken a bubble test since I was in high school, and I don't see the value in that. I think that we need to assess kids, yes, but I think there's a better way to do it. And there's a way to do it so that we don't, belittle the entire learning process that I truly believe in. Right now, my language arts classes have created their own syllabus, and I work with each kid individually or in small groups, and they have to just provide me evidence. No different than going on a job interview and having a portfolio. I ask them, all right, are you a good writer? If they answer me yes, they provide me evidence in all these different areas, and that's how we do it. And I'm trying to prepare them for real life, because that's how it works. You don't get a massive grade. You need to provide evidence that you're learning, you're showing growth, and that's the way we do it. And it's been very successful. And the parents, it takes some time to train them, because that's a totally different way of looking at grades. But when I explain to them, hey, when you get an A in my class, it means you've learned the standards of, the academic, achievement that we're looking at, and not just all these other arbitrarily tossed in items. And it's been great, and I don't anticipate I'll go back. As a teacher, to me, my job is to know the kid before I teach the student. And that's to say that if I don't know them as people, I cannot be an effective teacher to them. The kids that I have the most success with in helping them learn the content are those that I create a relationship with on a personal, level. I know that they're people. They have lives outside of school. I don't believe in homework, and so I just recognize them as people and treat them as such. And when you have that connection with them, they will do anything for you, and they will work their butts off for you. And that's how I've always believed in that, and that's something that has been very successful for me.